Good morning, everyone. Is that brighter? No? There's snow today. There's a snowfall today, so I was enjoying it when I had to go outside earlier. Just gonna take a peek. Guess you know. You're surrounded by misery. A nice snowfall. It's nice to watch. Actually, see it. I really don't want to get in trouble for recording the princesses that live here. I guess I'll continue when I actually go outside. But, you know, things I appreciate, like seeing, regardless of what's around you. You can block that out real easy. There. And I have it on record. The first snowfall. Yeah, do you remember last time? Yeah, you sent me where? Port Credit? To go get into a church? It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know if there were any buses to come back to Malton. That's what they want me to remember. It was the first snowfall, so I tried to record it. Just block out everything but the trees and the snow. And pretend they don't exist, like I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. Living here. Isn't that pretty? Okay, focus back to the Christmas tree so we can continue the live stream. Should include the top of the tree. No. What's the date today? Today is November the 9th, 2025. For 6 years I was homeless. Didn't know if I would be alive. Why shouldn't I put up a Christmas tree? I've been living in this apartment for 2 years and you've been doing everything in your power to try to get me out so you can play Pokemon because there's a Pokestop here. Why shouldn't I put up my tree? You miserable people. You have a miserable community with miserable people cheating and lying and stealing everywhere you go. Why shouldn't I put up my Christmas tree? Why don't we go over if I still lived with my parents and I had all that ODSP money just to spend on nothing? Would I be like the rest of the people? I'd be so lucky. I could just go spend it on whatever I want. I could Christmas shop and buy makeup and clothes and shoes for me. Wouldn't that be lucky? I could just leave Malta and go wherever I wanted, right? Enjoy a restaurant and come back to sleep here. Wouldn't that be lucky? Since I'm still trying to figure out a way that they won't destroy my business so I can actually make money, I think the nonprofit organization is on hold for a while. Like I said, I'm not going to compete and ruin my name and get tangled into a bunch of nonprofits who don't even know what nonprofit organization means, charity means. So that's one you destroyed. Is on the back burner. I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. I'm focusing on my narcissistic abuse business. Like I said, if I can get a job right, I don't know what's going to happen to the future of this community where I live in, but it has nothing to do with me right in my future. If you're going to buy a house somewhere, it doesn't make any difference, right? When you're ready to buy the house, then you look for location. It's like if your money's just going down the toilet, right? And you keep watching it, and you know it's not going to get any better. It just keeps getting worse. I would talk about the people texting my phone. But, you know, I don't know why they're even on the streets, why they have phones, why somebody hasn't banned them from having phones. So you want attention again? I told you I want to find out where they work. You sat here for 2 years, 1 year enabling them and helping them. What's left for where, Malton? I have no idea. Like I said, why do you keep bothering me? I just told you my focus is my business. You're probably going to remember all the comments, right, about me being alone and poor one day in Malton when they look around and they're homeless or they're at the food bank or they lost a job or they're looking for a job. Or if I get a job, maybe, right, they'll start complaining again. They want to be all grown, independent adults, right? That means by yourself, you alone by yourself. So can you imagine they're telling other people they're lonely because they're by themselves and they don't have anyone? Canada is trying to find normal again. What's normal? Normal conversations, normal ways to talk to people. What's normal? How you talk to people, right? Because you're toxic? What do you think that means? Someone just texted me asking me about my court date. This is a joke to them, right? They actually got me arrested. And they're still texting me asking me about my court date. In what world people wouldn't? I told you, 6 years, right? You have to see it this time, right? What you did? You actually have to sit here and watch it yourself. That's why I recorded everything. So you could sit here and watch it again and again. Malton could watch it, what they did. They can't deny it's them on the videos. 6 years. They want attention. Malton here? You want to be part of the live stream? 6 years. Where? Who taught you about mental health? You want to pretend again with me? Why? What do you mean in 6 years you got used to the way things work? Not following rules? Not reading contracts? Which one? Doing whatever you want? That's not my problem if in 6 years people let you get away with whatever you wanted. Not my problem. You're supposed to be, you have businesses and housing here, so that's my problem. Why don't you think about what you actually did to this building and all the units? Since I've been here for 2 years, the reputation of this building, because of what? Because it wasn't me, the tenant in apartment 47, right? So why don't you take a good look at what you did? Let's go through. Where do you think you're going to live? If you want housing and there's 200 and some units. Yeah, I want you to hear Malton, all of them. An actual charity, right? You destroyed an actual charity of my own that I had, that I started here when I was living here. A non-profit organization, a charity, and you destroyed it. Maybe normal people can understand this and have some sense about it. After you destroyed the narcissistic abuse business, right? I couldn't do anything. You kept destroying. You're getting my social media banned. Now actual police calls, false police calls. Sunday, they're going to go to church today, right? And what? Talk about narcissistic and abuse in a different way? Confuse people? And tell them what? The same way what? Why did you text my phone if you knew it was my business? Why did you keep texting? Do you know how many months that was? Why did you try to go and get my social media banned? For what reason? Why were you leaving comments there? For what reason? What common sense do you have to go and leave comments on people's social media if you know they're helping victims of abuse? Yeah, why do you think I have to be careful what I say? Every time I talk, you're sitting there waiting for what? Why don't you explain this to everyone, what your point is? Do you want to go over? Can you tell me about professional one more time? Where did you hear the word narcissist? So let me understand this again. You want a professional what? Tell me what degree you have to have. I started the business, a narcissistic abuse recovery life coach, because I was a victim of narcissistic abuse, and I had experience being a victim my whole life. That's how I started the business. How did you start your business? Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada. Well, just because of you guys, right? The fraud that you're doing. Do you understand? Because of people like you, I have to do things like this. That's how low you are. So you can see my face and know that it's me. Do you see the tattoo? Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada. Worldwide, it's not going to change. 6 years. I opened the business in March 2019. They want to embarrass. I'm not professional. They want to see me without makeup. Welcome to the women haters you are. You're not going to change into somebody else. And narcissistic abuse isn't going to go away, no matter how many of you there are in a group. On Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. It's all the same. Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada. Narcissistic Abuse Specialist, right? Life Coach. Doesn't matter which one. At Amy's Regal Life. I'm the same person. It's not going to change, and I'm not going to turn into somebody else. You can say toxic all day. What does that mean to me? Absolutely nothing. Why do you keep telling me that word, toxic? You come and you sit here so I can't go take a shower and get dressed to do these videos. That's why I look like that in all of them. You don't think you're disgusting? Every criminal, if you put them in a suit in court, aren't they professional looking enough for you? You are ridiculous, and I'm going to prove it to you now. What is your point? What is professional to you? I'm not professional enough. You hear what it sounds like when the windows are open? Just in case, right? You hear lots of noise in future live streams where I can't do them and they cancel them. Another year, right? Trying to explain this. Now there's snow, so it makes a lot of noise. Hold on, let me open the other window so we can listen. I told you, those days are over. You're not ruining anything. They're gonna hear everything now. This is your community. This is you. You want to destroy people. Why shouldn't you? Why should you work? You tell them. It's their bad, they said. My bad. That's what I've been hearing for 2 years. My bad. Do you want to go over this again? If I had a part-time job from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I'd be done already. They were whining and complaining, right? They saw what at what time in the morning. They don't know the difference between who, the people on the street. It's 9:42, right? So if I had a part-time job, 4 hours, 5 to 9, I'd be done. Isn't that funny? If I was working from home, I could be working 24 hours if I wanted, making money. But I can't do that from in here, this unit. Isn't that funnier? But they're telling me about being poor. Whining and complaining all day. They don't have anywhere to hang out. Oh, it's their weekend. I shouldn't be bothering them, right? They need to sleep. They worked hard. It's an active window. A lot of units and a lot of people in and out down there. We can't bother them. Would you like to say good morning to Empathy Bear? I guess all the cars left for work now, so we can go back to living here. Lucky no school bus today, right? We wouldn't want to accidentally go outside at the wrong time. I wonder how they got privileged to smoke inside here. I have lifelong nausea. I wonder what they use. Maybe I could use those excuses, right? So I can smoke in here too. I don't have to go outside in the cold and snow and winter. Wouldn't that be lucky? Maybe they're afraid of something. What do you think it is? The tenants? The other tenants? Which one do you think is the bad one they're afraid of? That they have privilege to stay in here and smoke, and then they're seeing me outside when I'm smoking. I really would love to know. Anybody know? Maybe we can find that out today before Monday. Maybe there's a building where you can smoke inside. I should look for that one in Malton. I guess I really don't need a pet building now, right? When I was looking for housing, I was looking for a building with the option to have a pet in case I wanted to get another dog, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, so I'm pretty sure I'm safe if I don't get a building where you can have pets. You're not supposed to put your Christmas tree up before Remembrance Day. That's unpatriotic. What's Remembrance Day for? Do you want to go over that one in Canada? What Remembrance Day is? On November 11th, since I'm not supposed to put my Christmas tree up, it's unpatriotic and we all live in Canada, and that's your mouth. What's Remembrance Day for? Why don't you remind them why you buy a poppy and where the money goes when you buy a poppy, since you're so into Remembrance Day and helping? That's a nonprofit, right? A charity. Yeah, you guys, Malton, sit together. Go to the Tim Hortons now. Have a discussion. How many of you have poppies on? What did you pay for it? What did you put in the donation box? So you know it's a charity, right? So let me hear now. Can you imagine this? What is the point of me? For 6 years, they were depressed and having mental health struggles, but what is the point of me? You're going to the food bank because you have no money. You're struggling for housing. You can't afford. 90% of you employed go to the food bank. What is the point of me? I'm going to sit here and watch. What is the point of me? Do you have credit cards? That's debt, right? I don't have any credit cards. I have no debt. They think that's funny. Do you have a line of credit? What does it take to get a line of credit? You don't understand, right? My line of credit. But you want to sit here and destroy and I shouldn't take your house? Uh-uh. Yeah, the whole point is when it doesn't affect them, they don't care. And nobody's going to say anything for me, right, if it's a whole group of you. So is right. Let me hear again, so. You think I'm going to spend the rest of my life letting you take everything and pretend it's yours? Say the word life coach again and let me hear which one of you. Lying, cheating, stealing from other people to make money is a life coach? Yeah? That's real good standards. Remember that? The code of ethics and standards and all that? Real good, Canada. You were adults that made adult decisions about money. If you lost your house because of it, you can't blame other people. Why are you sitting here texting me, calling me poor? Where do you think budgeting and financing, what do you think that is? How did you get your house? Why don't you have a line of credit? Yes, I'm gonna go until you understand. Malton made choices under the guidance of who for 6 years? Now all of a sudden when I came to live here, you want to take credit for what? You take credit for the choices you made and what you did to Malton in the 6 years I wasn't living here. Do you have any wishes for Christmas or Christmas presents you want? I'm going to remind you again. 6 years. You are individual, responsible adults, right? Over 19. So each single one of you over 19 is going to take responsibility for what you did. There is no more group mouth. You go to work in a group. When you get paid for being in a group. Maybe some of you, right? You still get the same paycheck whether you do the work or not. If you sit in a group and talk all day, isn't that funny? Let's equate it to real life. Why does nobody want to go to the mall in Malton? Let's equate it to real life. $10. What should I have for lunch? I'm going to have to worry about what I'm going to make for lunch and have for lunch. I have those ham steaks still. What else? I'll go check the fridge soon. See. Make myself some lunch. Relax for today for once, right? Do you know what happens if you repeat the same sentence over and over, loophole? Huh? Everybody in Malton knows get off the hamster wheel. What do you think is going to happen if you come back today and tell me the same sentence again? For 2 years, I've been teaching Malton get off the hamster wheel, loophole. Don't loophole me. What do you think that means, word salad? It means you don't come back the next day with the same story because I'm not going to believe it. We already did this yesterday, so don't bother. Is that coming back to you now? I told you, everyone in this building destruction. Why? Show me why. Anyone of you living here, show me why. You what? You want money and a job? Where? Where are you gonna go? You're in Malton. Why are you talking? They want to do things to people, but they don't want people to do things back. Talk more. Yeah, tell them what you're gonna do after. Where are you gonna go? You gonna go to Tim Hortons and McDonald's after? You text my phone, and what are you gonna do? Sit there and people aren't gonna know? You think the staff don't know who I am and they don't know who you are? You have to be what? If that's the same renovation truck that was next door doing the renovations in the new apartments, don't blame him? Should I go check the number on the van and see all those texts on my phone? Go give it to the police now and see which ones they can match up? What do you understand, Malton? Which one is your business? Yeah, a whole lot of you. But I'm one person right here, apartment 47. So let me hear this again. I moved in and what? Oh, what? What are you waiting for? Huh? You want me to close the curtains so you can run around and nobody will see you? Why don't you go explain that? Why? I can't have my curtain open. Show them again, right? Let me hear you. You what? 2 years. You. Let me hear you again. You what? Let me hear. Where did you hear the word in Malton? Narcissist. Much less for 6 years ago. Since we're talking about Narcissists and their need for control. Why would you be with someone who needs control of you? Since you want to come here and pretend and play with me and talk to me. Why? I spent 15 and a half years in a relationship with a narcissist who had jealousy issues, who created jealousy issues, while he went and played with everything you wanted. He lived his whole life, did whatever he wanted. Who knows if he got married, had kids, what he did. This is my business now for the whole world, all victims. I don't want to hear about any of you. I'm 46 years old. When I started the business, I was 39. Do you have any idea what you did to me for my 40th birthday? Calling me a narcissist? Is this funny to you if you got it wrong? I told you, you're gonna go through every one of you. You what? Let's go over this again. One last time. You're lying to people about housing. What do you think I'm going to do? One more. You what? Where do you have money? Where do you have a house? How are you going to get a rental? They want mothers and workers every day? Huh? How do you pay for your rental? Does the money go to the landlord? Do you pay them in cash? Do you get a rent receipt? You, every one of you in Malton, every one of you in Clothra Shelter, everywhere in Peel Region. You again. Say it again. Let me hear again why you keep running your mouths and telling people lies when you don't know the truth. You what? You have a rental? How do you pay for a rental? You have an apartment? How do you pay for your apartment? You have a house? How do you pay for your house? If not, you're homeless. If you're homeless, are you in a shelter or on the street? You want. Say it again, you want. I'm going to give you 6 years worth of you want. Telling me I'm poor about money, right? All these employees getting paid. I'm going to make them regret their paycheck. You want. Yes, list the workers now. All the services you used and show me your worker. Every dollar, right? I'm poor. Again, every minute of your lives. Let me hear about you again. Let me hear you say you have again. Everywhere you go in Malton, every single corner you turn, I'm not going to turn to somebody else. I'm going to be right here. Let me hear again what you did. When you sign a contract with a renter, where do you get a contract from? Yes, you are. You pay them in cash every month? Everybody in Malton now. Everybody. When you rent, do you have a contract with your landlord? How do you pay them? Now go over what it takes to get an apartment. Credit check, employment letters, everything. I'm going to make you pay for it. Every day I've been in here in my apartment. Everything you need to apply to get into an apartment. Everybody, everywhere now. You want, you're getting. Why do they keep calling? What do you think is going to change if you call my name again today? How many false calls did you make? You got me arrested for uttering threats. Show them again. This is an apartment building. That's the door to the apartment building, right? Show them again how ridiculous you are. I'm going to end this live stream. The morning and the nightly live streams are probably going to be routine, right? When I wake up, before I go to sleep, just like the relaxation at night, the wake up in the morning to recover from what you're around. So, 10:30. Enjoy the rest of your day.